Good day, everyone. Welcome to Module 3 of our Mental Health Support Skills course. Today we embark on a comprehensive exploration of therapeutic techniques and coping strategies that form the foundation of effective mental health support. Over the coming week, we shall examine evidence-based approaches, including cognitive behavioral therapy, mindfulness practices, and resilience-building strategies. These methods have been rigorously tested and proven effective across diverse populations and mental health challenges. Our structured approach begins with understanding what distinguishes therapeutic techniques from general wellness practices. We shall then delve into cognitive behavioral therapy, examining how thoughts, emotions, and behaviors interconnect to influence our mental state. Following this, we explore mindfulness practices rooted in contemplative traditions, yet validated by contemporary research. Finally, we investigate resilience-building strategies that enhance our capacity to navigate life's inevitable challenges whilst maintaining psychological well-being. By the conclusion of this module, you will possess both theoretical understanding and practical competence in these therapeutic approaches. You will articulate the fundamental principles underlying each method, recognize appropriate applications for different mental health challenges, and demonstrate proficiency in basic exercises. This knowledge forms the cornerstone of effective mental health support, whether applied to personal well-being or when supporting others in your professional or personal capacity. Our pedagogical approach emphasizes active engagement and experiential learning. Interactive lectures provide theoretical foundations, whilst real-world examples illustrate practical applications. Guided practice sessions allow you to develop hands-on competence under supervision. Personal reflection activities deepen your understanding of how these techniques might apply to your own experiences. Collaborative group work enriches learning through diverse perspectives and shared insights from your peers. Therapeutic approaches represent a significant advancement from intuitive or folk remedies. These structured methodologies have undergone rigorous scientific scrutiny, demonstrating measurable benefits for specific mental health conditions. Unlike casual advice or general wellness suggestions, therapeutic techniques follow systematic protocols developed through decades of clinical research and practice. They provide reliable frameworks for understanding and addressing psychological distress in predictable, replicable ways. 4 key characteristics distinguish therapeutic strategies from general advice. Evidence-based approaches rely on peer-reviewed research demonstrating effectiveness for specific populations and conditions. Structured approaches follow systematic methodologies rather than ad hoc responses to distress. Skill-building components develop specific mental and emotional capabilities that strengthen with practice over time. Sustainability ensures these techniques can be maintained long-term without causing dependency or requiring constant external support. The importance of evidence-based methods cannot be overstated in mental health support. Research validation increases the likelihood of positive outcomes, whilst reducing potential harm from well-intentioned but ineffective interventions. These methods optimize the use of limited time and emotional resources, providing clear expectations about benefits and limitations. When sharing techniques with others, evidence-based approaches carry greater credibility and professional acceptance, enhancing your effectiveness as a mental health supporter. Therapeutic techniques contribute to sustainable well-being through 3 interconnected pathways. Mental skills development provides cognitive tools for managing thoughts and emotions effectively. Emotional regulation builds capacity to understand and process feelings without becoming overwhelmed. Social connection enhancement improves our ability to maintain supportive relationships and seek appropriate help. These elements work synergistically, creating a robust foundation for long-term psychological health and resilience. Cognitive behavioral therapy represents one of the most extensively researched therapeutic approaches in contemporary psychology, Developed through decades of clinical practice and empirical validation, CBT demonstrates remarkable effectiveness across numerous mental health conditions. Its systematic approach to understanding the relationship between thoughts, emotions, and behaviors provides a practical framework for addressing anxiety, depression, stress management, and many other psychological challenges that individuals commonly experience. The CBT triangle illustrates the fundamental principle that thoughts, emotions, and behaviors continuously influence one another in dynamic cycles. A negative thought can trigger distressing emotions, which may lead to avoidance behaviors, subsequently reinforcing the original negative thought. Conversely, positive thoughts can generate uplifting emotions and constructive behaviors, creating beneficial cycles. Understanding this interconnection allows us to intervene at any point in the triangle to influence the entire system positively. Cognitive distortions represent systematic errors in thinking that typically reinforce negative emotions and maladaptive behaviors. All-or-nothing thinking creates unrealistic standards where anything less than perfection equals failure. Catastrophizing transforms minor setbacks into major disasters. Mind reading assumes we know others' thoughts without evidence. Mental filtering focuses exclusively on negative aspects whilst ignoring positive elements. Recognizing these patterns constitutes the first crucial step in addressing them through CBT techniques. Challenging cognitive distortions requires systematic questioning of automatic thoughts. We examine evidence supporting and contradicting the thought, explore alternative explanations, and consider advice we might give a friend in similar circumstances. We assess the thought's helpfulness and consider worst case, best case, and most realistic scenarios. This process develops critical thinking skills that gradually replace distorted automatic thoughts with more balanced, realistic perspectives that better serve our mental well-being. Thought records provide a structured method for examining and challenging distorted thinking patterns. We begin by identifying the specific situation that triggered distress, then capture the automatic thoughts that arose, rating our belief in them. We note accompanying emotions and physical sensations, then systematically challenge these thoughts using evidence and alternative perspectives. Finally, we develop more balanced thoughts and observe changes in emotional intensity. This process transforms abstract concepts into practical, applicable skills. Behavioral activation addresses the tendency to withdraw from activities when experiencing low mood or depression. This withdrawal often perpetuates negative feelings, creating a vicious cycle. By systematically scheduling meaningful activities that typically provide pleasure, achievement, or connection, we interrupt this cycle. Starting with small, manageable tasks builds momentum and confidence. Completing activities regardless of motivation level demonstrates that action can precede feeling, gradually restoring engagement with life's rewarding aspects. Mindfulness represents a fascinating convergence of ancient wisdom and modern science. Whilst rooted in contemplative traditions spanning thousands of years, mindfulness has undergone rigorous scientific scrutiny in recent decades. Contemporary research validates its therapeutic benefits for numerous mental health conditions. The practice involves cultivating present moment awareness with curiosity, openness, and acceptance, qualities that prove remarkably effective in managing stress, anxiety, and emotional reactivity. 5 core elements define authentic mindfulness practice. Present moment awareness anchors attention to current experience rather than past regrets or future worries. Non-judgmental observation allows experiences to unfold without immediate categorization, as positive or negative. Acceptance acknowledges reality as it exists, even when uncomfortable. Intentional attention involves deliberately choosing where to focus mental resources. Compassionate stance brings kindness to self-observation, reducing harsh self-criticism that often accompanies difficult emotions. Research demonstrates mindfulness benefits across multiple domains of mental health. Cognitive improvements include enhanced attention, concentration, and working memory, alongside increased mental flexibility and reduced rumination. Emotional benefits encompass better regulation of difficult feelings and increased tolerance for distress. Physical benefits include reduced stress hormones and improved immune function. Social benefits emerge through enhanced empathy and communication skills, strengthening interpersonal relationships and overall social well-being. Mindful breathing serves as the foundation for all mindfulness practices due to its accessibility and immediate availability. The breath provides a constant anchor for attention that requires no special equipment or location. When the mind inevitably wanders, which is entirely normal and expected, practitioners simply notice this wandering without judgment and gently redirect attention back to breathing sensations. This process of noticing and returning strengthens attention skills whilst developing a kinder relationship with mental activity. The body scan technique develops somatic awareness whilst promoting relaxation and tension release. By systematically directing attention through different body regions, practitioners learn to notice physical sensations that often go unrecognized during daily activities. The practice cultivates curious, non-judgmental observation of bodily experiences, whether tension, warmth, tingling, or numbness. Rather than trying to change these sensations, practitioners simply acknowledge their presence, developing greater bodily awareness and acceptance. Mindful eating demonstrates how mindfulness transforms routine activities into rich learning experiences. By slowing down and paying careful attention to sensory details, appearance, texture, aroma, taste, practitioners develop heightened awareness that extends beyond the eating experience. The practice reveals how often we consume food automatically, whilst distracted by other activities. Mindful eating builds transferable skills in sustained attention and present moment awareness applicable to numerous daily activities. The STOP practice provides an accessible mindfulness intervention for stressful moments throughout daily life. This acronym creates a memorable framework for interrupting automatic reactions and creating space for more thoughtful responses. The technique requires no special training or extended time commitment, making it particularly valuable during busy periods. Regular use of STOP practice develops the capacity to pause before reacting, leading to more skillful responses to challenging situations and reduced impulsive behavior. Sustainable mindfulness practice emerges through integration into existing daily routines, rather than requiring separate meditation periods. Informal practices transform ordinary activities into opportunities for awareness development. Linking mindfulness to established habits, such as morning routines or meal preparation, increases consistency and reduces the burden of remembering new practices. Starting with brief, manageable periods prevents overwhelm whilst building confidence and competence in mindfulness skills. Mindfulness approaches demonstrate particular effectiveness for stress-related conditions and emotional regulation challenges. The practice excels at breaking rumination cycles and enhancing present moment awareness, making it valuable for anxiety management and concentration difficulties. However, practitioners should understand that mindfulness may initially increase awareness of difficult emotions before providing relief. The approach requires consistent practice for meaningful benefits and may need professional adaptation for certain mental health conditions. Emotional resilience represents our capacity to navigate life's inevitable challenges whilst maintaining psychological equilibrium. Rather than avoiding difficulties, resilience involves developing skills to engage with adversity constructively and emerge stronger from the experience. Resilient individuals demonstrate flexibility in their responses to stress, maintain perspective during difficult periods, and utilize challenges as opportunities for growth and learning. These capabilities can be developed through specific practices and strategies. Emotional resilience comprises 6 interconnected components that work together to create psychological strength. Self-awareness provides the foundation by helping individuals understand their emotional patterns and triggers. Adaptability enables flexible responses to changing circumstances. Optimism maintains hope whilst acknowledging realistic challenges. Social connection provides support networks essential for navigating difficulties. Problem-solving skills offer practical approaches to addressing challenges. Self-efficacy builds confidence in one's ability to handle adversity effectively. The Resilience Wheel provides a comprehensive framework for understanding and developing resilience across 6 key domains. Physical well-being encompasses sleep, nutrition, exercise, and health management, the biological foundation for psychological strength. Mindset includes optimism, growth orientation, and cognitive flexibility. Connection involves relationships and social support systems. Purpose provides meaning and direction during difficult times. Skills encompass problem-solving and emotional regulation capabilities. Resources include practical support systems and coping tools. Gratitude practice systematically trains attention towards positive aspects of life, counteracting our natural tendency to focus on problems and deficits. Regular gratitude journaling rewires neural pathways to notice and appreciate beneficial experiences more readily. The practice requires specificity. Rather than generic statements, effective gratitude involves detailed reflection on why particular experiences matter personally. Physical sensations often accompany genuine gratitude, providing embodied reinforcement of positive emotional states. Solution-focused thinking redirects mental energy from problem analysis towards constructive action planning. Rather than becoming overwhelmed by challenges, this approach systematically generates multiple potential responses without immediate judgment. The process involves clearly defining problems without catastrophizing, brainstorming diverse options, evaluating approaches based on feasibility and values alignment, then implementing chosen solutions whilst monitoring outcomes. This methodology builds confidence in one's problem-solving capabilities, whilst reducing anxiety about difficult situations. Strong relationships constitute one of the most powerful predictors of resilience during challenging periods. Quality social connections provide emotional support, practical assistance, and perspective during difficulties. Effective relationship building requires vulnerability, the willingness to share struggles and ask for help when needed. Reciprocity ensures relationships remain balanced through both giving and receiving support. Active listening and genuine presence during interactions strengthen bonds. Healthy boundaries protect relationships from becoming overwhelming or codependent. Values clarification provides an internal compass for navigating difficult decisions and maintaining direction during challenging periods. Core values represent fundamental principles that guide behavior regardless of external circumstances. The process involves identifying what matters most deeply, such as connection, growth, contribution, or integrity. Then defining how these values manifest in daily life. Values-based decision-making reduces confusion during crises by providing clear criteria for evaluating options and maintaining authentic self-expression. Life transitions, whether planned or unexpected, test resilience by disrupting familiar routines and requiring adaptation to new circumstances. Effective transition navigation begins with acknowledging inherent losses, even in positive changes. Maintaining some familiar elements provides stability during upheaval. Seeking support from others who have navigated similar transitions offers practical guidance and emotional validation. Patience with the adjustment process recognizes that adaptation takes time and involves temporary discomfort before new equilibrium emerges. The ALIVE model provides a structured approach for maintaining resilience during acute crises. Acknowledging reality prevents denial whilst avoiding catastrophic thinking. Linking with supportive others counters isolation tendencies during distress. Investigating options maintains agency by identifying available choices and resources. Validating emotions normalizes crisis responses without becoming overwhelmed. Engaging in meaningful action, however small, builds momentum and restores sense of control during chaotic periods. Holistic mental health approaches recognize that no single therapeutic technique addresses all aspects of psychological well-being. The most effective strategies combine elements from different therapeutic traditions, creating personalized toolkits that address cognitive, emotional, behavioral, and social dimensions simultaneously. CBT addresses thought patterns. Mindfulness develops present moment awareness, and resilience building strengthens long-term capacity. Integration of these approaches provides comprehensive support for diverse mental health challenges and individual preferences. Personal coping toolkits require strategic organization across different time frames and intensity levels. Immediate relief techniques provide rapid support during acute distress, deep breathing, grounding exercises, or brief mindfulness practices. Short-term management tools address daily challenges through thought records or brief meditation. Medium-term stability emerges through regular practices like exercise routines or journaling. Long-term resilience develops through values clarification, relationship building, and lifestyle modifications that support sustained well-being. Effective mental health support requires matching specific techniques to particular challenges rather than applying generic approaches. Rumination and worry respond well to thought records and mindfulness meditation. Low mood benefits from behavioral activation and gratitude practices. Acute anxiety may require grounding techniques and breathing exercises. Social anxiety might benefit from gradual exposure and social skills development. Understanding these connections enables more targeted and effective interventions for specific mental health challenges. Environmental factors significantly influence mental health and the effectiveness of coping strategies. Physical environments can either support or hinder well-being through designated practice spaces, visual reminders, nature access, and optimized lighting and sound conditions. Social environments prove equally important. Supportive relationships, understanding communities, and professional networks enhance therapeutic outcomes. Creating supportive contexts requires intentional attention to both physical and social factors that promote mental health practices. Sustainable mental health habits develop through gradual implementation rather than dramatic lifestyle changes. Starting with brief, manageable practices prevents overwhelm whilst building confidence. Linking new practices to established routines increases consistency by utilizing existing behavioral patterns. Progress tracking focuses on consistency rather than perfection, recognizing that regular practice matters more than flawless execution. Flexibility allows adaptation when circumstances change, maintaining long-term sustainability despite temporary disruptions. Supporting others with mental health challenges requires careful attention to personal well-being to prevent burnout and maintain effectiveness. Clear boundaries define the scope of support offered whilst protecting personal resources. Regular self-care becomes essential during intensive support periods. Recognizing professional limits ensures appropriate referrals when situations exceed personal competence. Seeking supervision or consultation provides guidance and emotional support for supporters themselves, maintaining the quality and sustainability of helping relationships. Common barriers to mental health practice often reflect practical concerns rather than lack of motivation. Time constraints can be addressed through micro-practices and integration into existing activities. Skepticism may diminish through education about research evidence and gradual experimentation. Perfectionism requires reframing practice as skill development rather than performance. Inconsistency benefits from habit linking and progress tracking. Addressing these barriers proactively increases the likelihood of sustained engagement with therapeutic practices. Professional mental health support becomes necessary when self-help strategies prove insufficient for managing psychological distress. Intensity indicators include significant impairment in daily functioning across work, relationships, or self-care domains. Duration concerns arise when difficulties persist for several weeks despite consistent self-help efforts. Safety concerns, including suicidal thoughts, self-harm behaviors, or inability to ensure personal safety, require immediate professional intervention. Recognizing these indicators enables timely access to appropriate professional support. Our exploration of therapeutic techniques reveals several key insights that form the foundation for effective mental health support. Evidence-based approaches, CBT, mindfulness, and resilience building demonstrate substantial research validation across diverse populations and conditions. These methods work most effectively when combined thoughtfully, addressing different aspects of well-being simultaneously. Personal adaptation remains crucial, as individual preferences and circumstances influence which techniques prove most beneficial for each person's unique mental health journey. These reflection questions encourage deeper engagement with the material through personal exploration and peer dialogue. Consider which therapeutic approach resonates most strongly with your personality, learning style, and life circumstances. Identify specific barriers that might challenge your implementation of these techniques. Time constraints, skepticism, or perfectionism. Reflect on how you might adapt these approaches when supporting others, recognizing that effective mental health support requires sensitivity to individual differences and cultural contexts. This practical exercise transforms theoretical knowledge into personalized application. Spend 15 minutes creating your own coping toolkit by identifying immediate relief techniques for acute distress moments. Select one daily practice technique you'll commit to implementing consistently over the next week. Consider environmental modifications that would support your mental health practices, physical spaces, social support, or technological reminders. This personalized approach increases the likelihood of sustained engagement with therapeutic techniques. Supporting others requires careful consideration of how to introduce therapeutic techniques appropriately and effectively. Choose a technique you feel confident explaining and identify specific scenarios where it might prove beneficial. Practice explaining the technique clearly, emphasizing its evidence base and practical applications. Consider potential concerns or resistance the person might have, and prepare thoughtful responses. Remember that effective support involves meeting people where they are, rather than imposing predetermined solutions. Continued learning remains essential for developing expertise in mental health support. The recommended books provide comprehensive coverage of specific therapeutic approaches, whilst mobile applications offer convenient practice opportunities. Professional websites supply current research findings and practical resources. Consider which resources align with your learning preferences and professional development goals. Regular engagement with these materials deepens understanding and enhances your capacity to support both personal well-being and that of others. Mental health support represents an ongoing journey of learning, practice, and refinement rather than a destination to reach. Each individual's path to well-being unfolds uniquely, influenced by personal history, cultural background, and life circumstances. The most important element involves finding approaches that genuinely resonate with you and those you support. Patience with the learning process, compassion for setbacks, and commitment to continued growth characterize effective mental health practitioners. Encourage participants to complete the module assessment and reflection journal to consolidate their learning. Remind them that their journey in supporting mental well-being is ongoing. Provide contact information for any further questions or support.